Don't be alarmed on the video. It is not as scary as you think, believe me. I'm gonna have some gameplay in the background. I think it's gonna be Goosebumps Night of Scares. It's something I tried in the background just to keep you guys company while I talk around, so you're not staring at a blank screen all day. I'm also gonna be putting some appropriate music in the background to kind of make it ambiance while I talk about certain things and the whole reasoning to that. So by the time this video gets uploaded, it'll be my 200th video, and I'm coming close to being halfway to 1K. Now, being at 1K in a YouTube channel is a big deal for a few reasons, one of which is being able to have access to the community tab, which is probably one of the best reasons of trying to get up there. But, you know, it takes time. And I do appreciate a lot of people who come and subscribe. Now, one of the big reasons why I'm making this said video is because I'm in a bit of a conundrum. Now, I've gotten some comments about this as of late, but I've also been thinking about this for a while as well. That is being the fact that, so far, this channel has been only focusing on one game, that being Goosebumps Horrortown. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the game. Certainly do. I wouldn't have been doing these videos if I haven't loved it, or find enjoyment doing them. Certainly I have, and I've always still going to do it. The thing is, I won't even stop doing it until the game's official end. And that's part of the problem. You see, it's good to be focusing on one particular content, however, that's not always the best idea, especially when the inevitable end to a certain project. Now, I don't think this game's going to end anytime soon. Far from it, from what I've seen from update-wise. But, you never know. Things can always happen. And for me as a channel, I tend to try to find a niche or something that fits to my character and dilemma. So this is what this whole video is about. It's basically a call to action of sorts, to ask you, the dear viewers, on what you think would be the best bet. Now there's a few things I wanted to talk about here that probably might help you give some ideas and see where it goes from there. First of all, the channel itself. As of late, I've been thinking about what my whole theme is. I've been doing a lot of stuff since 2016, and it's almost been 5 years since I've started doing this, and I haven't found a weird, like, this is what I specialize in. Now, I've kind of fell into the Goosebumps crowd, but I kind of decided to think to myself that I think my major theme is Halloween. Now, I don't mean Halloween as in just a 1 month of the year kind of deal, but just a theme of spooky stuff. One of the reasons why I loved Goosebumps Horrortown is the fact that, you know, it's spooky everything, you know, spooky holidays, spooky, like, I'm a sucker for that. And I've been looking at this, and it's like, I've never really cared for stuff, but hey, if it has a Halloween update, you bet I download that stuff. And, like, even, like, for example, Simpsons, I don't really care for much of the newer stuff, but I always try to log in for that new episode of Treehouse of Horror. I think that's the only reason why it's making a series now, is just to make Treehouse of Horror specials, because that's the only one time of the year that people would like to come in and watch it, even if it doesn't look great. Who cares? It's Halloween, we want to watch it. It's a weird tradition. And Halloween seems to be a niche, and it's a great topic, too, because it kind of fits the whole horror, but being a bit more family-friendly horror. To a certain extent. I'm more seeing myself as a PG channel as far as, like, teen goes. So meaning that I'm not too child-friendly, but I'm not too edgy either. I tend to find this middle ground niche type of deal, as you've probably seen through my Goosebumps Horrortown playthroughs. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I've been trying to think of ways to kinda do this as well as other stuff, but there's been a few problems with this being a thing. One of them, and the major one, is time. Time is very important, and because I also do working outside in real life, it's sometimes hard to keep those two together. I do this for free, because I want to do this. I enjoy doing this, but it takes time in order to do it, and sometimes I don't have enough energy to put the time into making them. And Goosebumps Horrortown has been taking a lot of that time out of it, especially with the more compact videos I've been doing. So, I've been thinking ways to do stuff like that. Well, one option is to stream. I've done streaming in the past, and I thought, you know, hey, it worked before, why not do that now? Another problem with that is, again, time. People who have watched me when I did my streams will always know that I'm not really good when it comes to time management, and mostly it's because of, like I said before, you don't know what will happen. And I can't say I'm going to be at this particular time at this particular day, because even if I try to do so, things usually end up not working to my favor, and it just ends up making it worse. So I ended up had more stress with streaming, and then when I started doing videos, I had more enjoyment of it because I couldn't take my time with it. I could put a lot of effort that I want to do with my humor and all that stuff added in there. And I enjoyed doing that type of stuff, even helping people out when it comes to looking at the nitty-gritty of how things can work and what's the best option to do. Now, I suck sometimes, I'll admit that, but that's something to be thought of. But there's not, fear not, I should say. There are some options that I can think of that can work. First of all, Goosebumps. It's a big brand, and as you can see in the background, there's a lot of different content with Goosebumps. Heck, I mean, sooner or later we're going to get a new TV series that was announced this year, and who knows when that's going to come out, but you bet I'm going to be watching that when it ever does. And I hope it's going to be good, because, oh boy, the other two films, they weren't bad, but they weren't great either. They're not spooky. Regardless of that, though, there was other stuff too. There's video games of it, as short as they may be. The only longest one has this game, and you know, eventually that game will go away too, and, you know. Then you might say, well, what about good books? When I read the books of it. I don't like reading, and I don't know how to make it entertaining enough that people would want to watch such videos. Hell, even I wouldn't want to watch something that long and boring. The only thing to work with that is stuff with podcasts, and people have already been doing that before, better than me, for sure. I seem to be a gaming channel foremost, and I feel like I want to stick to that. Hence why the theming of Halloween. There are certain games that kind of fit the spooky aesthetics without going too overboard, and there are some options that people have suggested. One of which I've gotten was to check out the Dead by Daylight game. Now, I could see that being a fun experience, especially since it's good for streaming. I can do that off time and have fun with that. The problem is with that game is that it is about M-rated, and to say the least, it's not that, you know, I have no problem playing that. The thing is, because of my channel being in the teens, I'm not only getting a bit of older audiences watching me, but also younger ones. And I feel like an obligation as being some sort of figure of when it comes to video making of an influencer. I have to have some responsibility of what I put out there. I know, most of my people who watch this are mature, but, you know, we don't want Karens to get too upset now, do we? So, I have to figure out ways to kind of think of what works. Now, there's another option I can do, and it's an option that kind of fits. You know, it's like Goosebumps, it's also Town Builders made by the same people, and that's the Adams. And to be fair, I have recorded a lot of stuff with the Adams, and it is something I was thinking of maybe doing, but the problem with that is a few things. One of which is the fact that Adams is like Goosebumps in the form of how long it takes to make these videos. Namely, it takes a while for me just to make one topic in order to make it going through, and because of how I got criticism when it comes to how I should do voices and all that stuff, it takes time to do it. Now, I wouldn't be too extreme like I do with the Goosebumps stuff, far from it. It's still going to take some time to do it, hence, you know, voice work, all that stuff to make it watchable. So, that's one problem. The other problem is, and if you've played this game, you know very well, the way they decide to monetize it is certainly... Oh, that is a topic within itself, I tell you that. And it's going to be very awkward for me to talk about that stuff because, oh boy, but that's neither here or there. So that's another option I can do and play, and I'm kind of still wanting to do it, but I don't know how to work around it, what would be the best option to kind of have these two kind of coexist, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm making this video and giving the call to action to you, the audience, the people who not only watch my channel, but also leave comments down below. it gives me some idea of what the majority of people who watch my content who likes Goosebumps Horrortown might also like at the same time. That will also something that I like, so that way it would be something that everyone will be happy with. That way it's not so much the same thing over and over again, but it's also somewhat of different varieties. And then this different varieties can also expand my channel to be a little bit bigger and more of a variety channel rather than a tight niche thing. So these are my options to look for, and I'm still kind of debating on what to do. When I finally am hoping by the time I reach that half milestone of 500 subscribers, I should have an answer of what I want to do that will make everything work out for everybody. But hey, that's just what I've been thinking on my mind. So let me know down below, what would you like to see from me as far as content goes, and what would you suggest as far as videos that can be very short for me to do, that will be quick and more digestible enough, but also something to keep you satisfied while my video of Goosebumps playthroughs come very slowly. I'd like to hear your thoughts and suggestions. So, thank you for watching this video, and I do hope to hear from you very soon. Until then, thank you for watching.